Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. And with me, as always, get that thumbs up. A
Oh
thumbs up on
yeah.
Rachel's head. As always, is my lovely wife, Rachel. I'm upset to be able to whoop whoop in the house, but
Ooh, ooh. Hey folks.
hey. So, um, figure we'll do our little recap. And by the way, we're gonna show some things. This isn't the time to necessarily buy for Christmas, but we're gonna have a little bit of a show and tell going on because there are some, I don't know, items. Rate doesn't even know one of the things I'm gonna be showing, but let me, and it's not my GM screen. That's I
No,
should. Maybe I will.
you should show that. It's
I should
class,
I
man.
should show that. It's
I mean, they're not gonna get it in time for Christmas, but
no true. So actually, so Rach had a doctor's appointment this week.
hmm
There's only one, right?
two.
Two. Oh, that's right,
Yeah,
too.
I had an ortho appointment on Thursday, and my surgeon for the cancer on Friday. So everything with the cancer is so far so good. No cancer in the house
There we
or in
go.
the body. So that's happy. Um, but I do, and we did find another condition
At the ortho.
at
At
the
the
ortho.
ortho.
um, so I've been having pain lately in both my hands from, the base of my thumb down up my arm, like up my wrist. And so while my orthopedist doesn't specialize in wrists, and he referred me to a wrist and hand specialist. He told me that have I could be the de Quervain's tendonitis. So what that the way he was able to tell was he had you do a thumb place the thumb inside your fist and then go up and down, and if it brings pain, um I guess that's the telltale sign of that condition.
I don't even want to say what that reminds me
So,
of, but on that day,
and yeah, it hurts more in the left than the right. So, yeah, um, I guess that there's many reasons why somebody could get that. Um, you know, I guess, repetitive motions, like, with my work, I was doing a lot of typing and
right.
yeah, and I still, you know, on my phone.
She's still playing games on her phone.
Yeah,
Well, you got a show and tell piece.
I do. So for the uh decor vans, they recommend like a um
All right, so this is the camera we're using. It's over here, and I'm not giving you a pink finger, folks. It's a
that
up yours.
you stick your thumb in there and then
Oh, that's a totally. See now, see now.
so you're kind of like
Hey, and the pink
the pink
funds.
font.
So I guess that keeps your thumb straight.
It keeps it immobile so that this way it can rest and
Okay,
the swelling in the tendon can go down.
fair enough.
Um, yeah, and so that's what's going on.
On the itchy side, on the home front, our gardening is starting to truly. Remember, we did a big cleaning, cleaned out all the old plants, planted new ones. The right column is about a week behind everything else, only because the
There
right
was a
column.
hose that was kinked in
And
there.
yeah, so we had to fix the kink. So other than that, stuff is looking good.
Hmm.
I ordered some more interesting stuff today,
Oh yeah.
including some microgreens, so
Oh yum.
you can do some microgreens. So now, one thing that I wanted to show, and it's only because for years, for 20 years, I used to carry two wallets, and this is was my most recent standard wallet, normal wallet, well used, and I probably had this for I don't know 4 or 5 years, but it's gotten to the point now when I open up the wallet. And if I turned it on its side or anything, I would actually have credit cards falling out. So I had like double and triple them up.
Right, because the
It's,
leather, it
it's,
seems like,
it's,
has
it
gone.
has stretched.
Yeah.
So now the reason why I had this particular wallet is because I always had two wallets. I had one with my Shield and ID and emergency cash, and I had one with all the credit cards. So I like this one because it had this little insert here that you could take out for your ID. Well, you know what? I decided to move up to the modern age and go for a slim wallet. And with the slim wallets, you hit a button, and all your credit cards and stuff come up for you to use. Otherwise, they stay in.
How many cards does it hold?
I think 8.
Hmm.
I got my ID on this side,
Oh, and that's
and
how the cash works.
uh,
That's cool.
cash has a little billfold. So I took, you're not going to hold a lot of cash in here, but you know what? This is going. It makes my pocket a lot lighter.
Oh, so you're happy with it?
Yeah, I've had this. I've had
Ah,
this. I
for years.
Yeah, I've had this honestly for years.
You
So,
put your stuff in and then you took it right out.
yeah, I'm like, I can't use this. What the hell is this shit? But you know what? I'm removed enough from the point of wanting this bulky ass wallet where shit will fall out of, to having a much thinner wallet where shit will not fall out of.
It's still pretty thick though, but
But it's smaller because it's not,
yeah, it's more manageable than that.
because size wise,
Mm-hmm.
if you can see how much smaller it is, but that's substantially smaller in your pants pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good. I'm glad you're happy.
yeah, I mean, I might still look for other solutions, but for now,
That's working out.
it's better than having your credit card fall out when you go to
Mm-hmm.
the gas station. You're at the pump. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
why did another card fall out? That's not what I wanted. Uh, Don, Dave, welcome. So now another show and tell thing. This is, we probably showed this before. This
Hop
is
water.
hop water. In particular, this is the passion fruit. So hop water is a sparkling water uh, crafted with adaptogens and nootropics. So that is your alcohol alternative, essentially, because it's made with hops. I do find these to be very tasty, but Rach, this is part of her normal nighttime sit
Yeah.
down relaxation routine. So I asked her what she wanted. So right now, Hop Water has a 25% off, I believe, on most everything. I if I place another order between now and Black Friday, I'll probably order
Pink grapefruit.
the black cherry.
The
Eh,
black cherry is good too.
Yeah,
It's all good.
the black cherry or the
Mm.
lemonada.
That was good too.
You
All of
know,
it.
you're like, ooh, because and of course, it's going. You have hop tea sitting
Oh
in that
yeah, I'm
room.
about to nag.
I'm not a nag. I'm just saying you've got that black hop tea, which has a bite.
It's got
It, it, it-
Shimco hops and Sintra hops.
it's
Sintra I can handle. Shimco does not make my taste buds happy.
does not make my. It's just like yeah, okay,
Shimco is just that bit too bitter.
yeah. So Don, in Michigan, believe it or not, they have water infused with marijuana, as it is
Oh,
legal here.
oh,
I don't know if I want my water infused with marijuana. I'll have I'll have to
yeah.
reach out to Joe to get his opinion on
Yeah,
that.
how does that work? I guess your is it CBD in it or just is it THC? Like Is it the psychoactive? Like
Is it
THC through the gut.
does
I've
it
never
does it
really
stink like
been into edibles. Probably, maybe
oh
a
man,
little.
if it stinks like
Probably
that,
nicely. Oh, you know what?
what?
If they put it with like some lemon and rose, it would smell like Flora Botanica perfume
All right.
from Balenciaga.
Uh-huh.
And
Now,
that's a gorgeous one. So
THC,
gorgeous.
what
It's discontinued.
YHC? Oh, sorry, THC infused.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I it making my head
Eh,
scratch.
maybe to try once, but I don't know. Like how much THC? It's hard for me to understand because we have measures of alcohol.
Right.
THC, not really. You know.
It's like feeling fun. I've had too much. My my doctor tried to prescribe me a massive edible and pot pack. I gave it to Tim. So,
Nice.
honest story. One of our good friends who visited in 2023 came down and was like, "Hey, I brought you an edible." Actually, I think it was two edibles. And he goes,
It was like two each.
yeah. And immediately I put them in a sealed plastic container. They're still in that sealed plastic container. I mean, I think I would need to have like 2 days put aside just in case.
I don't know. I have the like fear of like THC does something different when you take it through the gut than when you smoke it. So
I've never smoked it, so I
you
do
know,
not.
like it. I don't know.
I do not know. Okay.
Like I guess I've heard that it can be more hallucinogenic when you take it through the gut,
Yeah, it's like,
and that doesn't
yeah,
quite sit right with me.
2 glasses of wine or an edible. I'll take my 2 glasses of wine, please. Thank you very much. I think it's okay. Don, it's really not my thing. I just do not like the effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I still remember when I had to take the psych test for the NYPD, and you have the written one, which was really like 600 questions. They want to see how you answer the same question in different ways. Then I get to the one about, have you ever used a controlled substance? I'm like, this is not, this is an actual interview question. I'm like, no. And and they looked up at me and they went, really? I go, really?
They're like, really?
So you've never used marijuana or pot? I went, no. I've been around people who have. I've never used it. Well, what vices? I go, have you drunk to excess? I'm like, yes, I have. And I don't plan on repeating it. And they're like, why is that? When you wake up mid vomit and sit in a recliner,
Ugh.
I go, you learn to never do that again. And when was that? I go, 6 years ago. I could almost tell you the exact date. I go, I still have beer. I still enjoy my wine, but not to excess, because that was very much not an experience that I wanted to repeat. It was a good enough answer, so I think it was fine. Don, I tried edibles once. Gummies my doc prescribed.
Yeah.
Not my thing at all.
Aw.
Parasocial. Hello, Princess Rachel.
Hello.
Lord Eric and all. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. So earlier tonight, I was on the what is it? The Nerd Cognito live
Oh,
stream.
that's what it's called. Nerd cognito.
Cognito. That's the channel. But on Saturdays they have the Saturday Speakeasy, which
Aw.
is, being that I have the tavern, it's a pretty good fit. So I was on there with Ryan and the rest of his Saturday posse. Very nice folks, and we got to announce the project for 2025. So I am going to be on another once a month cast. My nose is itching. I'm gonna be on a it was it's of course now I'm having a senior moment, right?
You're trying to remember the name of?
Yes,
Oh, I got you. I
it's
think.
good characters, but I can't remember what
So
kind of
it's
characters.
called Inappropriate
Inappropriate is
Characters
re-rolled.
Re-Rolled.
Thank you. I'm going
Yeah, I think that's
in.
what I heard over on my
Yeah,
yoga mat when I was
I'm
zenning out
literally
before.
having a senior moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, inappropriate characters re-rolled. Now this used to have Grim Jim, the pundit. I'm not sure if Wenger was the third chair back then or not. They've had various people as co-hosts. Grim Jim hasn't been on it for a while, but Grim Jim will be coming back for inappropriate characters re-rolled.
Oh, and the pundit was in it.
Pundit was in it. He's not going to be in the re-rolled one. It's going to be
He
Ron.
left with Wenger.
Yes, the last episode is inappropriate characters. Interestingly enough, I was a guest host. So, and I will be a regular host when it returns in 2025 as re-rolled. And I'm looking forward to it because
Cool.
I can truthfully say Jim and I probably uh, disagree on more issues than we agree on. However, I respect the man's opinions because he presents them so even-handedly, or or knowledgeably, and engages in conversation as opposed to just discourse
Mhm.
and vitriol. So I
Right.
think,
He thinks about it.
yeah. So I think it's going to
And he
be
looks at things,
different
in a
perspectives.
deeper perspective. Yeah.
And Jim, this is, everybody has an opinion, right? Jim isn't the arrogant type that believes that just because he has a stance, that his stance is automatically right. Which, regretfully, sadly, if you look on social media, most people that express an opinion are like, "I'm right, you're wrong. Go fuck yourself."
Right. They don't want to listen.
So I
And
am
neither person wants to listen.
right. So I'm really looking forward to this. And honestly, when this first came up like 2 months ago as a possibility, uh, and I told Rach who the one of the possible hosts were. Rach, what did you say?
I'm not too sure.
I said it's Grim Jim is going to be one of the hosts, and you were like, "You're going to do it, right? You're gonna be on it. You're gonna
I was like, you better do it.
yes, because you know
I respect what he does, and I um, respect his stance on a lot of things.
right.
And I enjoy his videos and enjoy listening to like his experience.
Jim is real,
Yes.
and honestly, that is a rarity, not just in social media, but in personal interactions. A lot of times, you know, people put on the show of what the expectations,
Yes. Very real.
and Jim is very real. He can be very, I don't want to say the word vulnerable, but certainly puts himself out there.
Right. He's fearless in that way.
And I really do,
Almost.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be sometime in 2025, probably earlier in the year, but we got to work out all the logistics. It is. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the evil YouTube side. 'Cause I know Ryan got banned from YouTube. I forget why.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it to do with politics, or was it just it was some stupid thing that
it might.
nobody understands?
It could be a stupid thing that nobody quite understands, but they have a pretty good turnout. They had 100, as the live stream was going on. I think they surpassed 150 live viewers on Rumble alone. Well, Rumble and Twitter, Rumble and X, and that was tonight.
Oh, I didn't
So
understand that they
it's
were
just
just going on the two.
yeah.
Mm.
So I think that's pretty spectacular. I will again. I'm looking forward to it. Now, that does mean that once a month I'll be doing live streams on Wednesday night talking crit, Thursday night vlogging many things with Don and Tom.
No, absolutely.
Fridays with either Glenn or the Random Party Generator.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday with Rach, and then Sunday night once a month is going to have another live stream. and occasionally I'll be guesting on other live streams. So yes, it
Uh-huh.
is. Too much Tenka. It's
Just enough
enough, just enough.
Tenka.
If you've never watched Just Enough,
Has she?
Heshi Tischler, uh, he's a local New York.
From Brooklyn.
Yeah, you can't make it up.
Crown Heights, I think.
Crown Heights runs for political office every year, never wins, and he has a press pass. I don't know how he ever got a press pass, but he has a press pass.
Well, he has a channel and he has a following.
He does. He
So,
does.
you know.
I don't know how many people take him seriously, but he has a channel and a following. Another side note, I guess, before we start delving into tonight's main topic, also the Substack for Ten Cars Tavern will be rebooting. Should be this Tuesday. I want to do it every Tuesday, and it's gonna highlight a best of. It's gonna link all the video channels of the friends of the tavern and myself, projects that I'm involved with, projects I'm not involved with, but I'm also going to use it as a development blog, uh, journal for Blades and Arcana. So that means that it forces me to make sure that I'm working on a weekly basis and I get content together for that on a weekly basis. That's something that I need to do. I need that kind of not so much repetition, but that structure.
Structure.
And as you learn more about yourself, it's the reason why these I do a video every day and I do a blog post every
Right.
day. I need that structure, and it works out well for me. So
Good.
Parasocial says the devil's lettuce is completely legal here.
No.
There are as many pot stores as liquor stores,
Hmm.
almost, although some are going under.
See, we have a
Yeah,
lot of pot stores that like we have a lot of like dispensaries, but they're not all like
they're not all legal.
licensed.
Yeah,
So they're basically illegal because like the state when they opened this up a couple of years ago, um it was only like a certain number of licenses that were available, like 150 or something like that. And then you know, there's a hell of a lot more than 150 throughout
probably throughout Queens alone.
yes.
Let alone the whole state. One county probably has more than the state's supposed to have.
Yeah, like we don't have one like
Yeah, we do.
um
Right across.
in our immediate block,
No, well,
but
yeah, across,
like out on the
half
main drag we
half a
have
mile away. This,
like three of
yeah,
them. I
yeah.
think the one on the boulevard
There's two on the boulevard, one on either side. There's one next to
next
Patty
to Patty
and Cheese,
G.
and there's one across the street. That's where the cash machine is. I went to use one time, and I went, "Oh my god, this is another pot store."
Not the bodega.
No, no, in the middle of the block.
Some other thing in the middle. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
didn't even know about that one.
yeah.
Because there used to be one out on the boulevard itself. Um, that used to be like Subway, and then it was a
Uh,
liquor store, and then it turned into this. Not, I don't think I see it anymore.
okay. No, yeah, I was,
And
I
then there was another one in that um in a shopping plaza
yeah.
beside White Castle.
So, listen, I mean, that works out perfect, right? You get the munchies, you got White Castle.
Yeah,
I need a belly bomber.
yeah.
I can save money on the burgers after spending it all on a legal pot. So, for today, we decided we were going to talk about how did you want to say it?
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
So it's Diabetes Awareness Month, and
Yes.
you know Eric,
Oh, we've been very aware last.
yeah, struggles with the blood sugar.
The blood sugar. Now, uh, my son's aunt used to refer to like a big gulp as diabetes in a cup, and she wasn't wrong.
No,
No, but part of the struggle with diabetes that many non-diabetics don't realize is it isn't just a struggle with high with yes Don diabetes.
diabetes.
Wilfred Brimley.
Wilford Brimley.
Yep, yep.
Check your blood sugar and check it off.
He wasn't selling self lubricating.
No, no, he was only about the diabetes, and he wasn't selling insurance neither.
So David's like he's type 2 on metformin and insulin. And now, a little background on my diabetes. I was diagnosed as an adult, type 2, and I wasn't diagnosed until I came down with cancer. So,
That was after your treatment, right?
no, it was the
It was
beginning of my treatment.
during. Oh,
It was the beginning of my
hmm
treatment. I'd had, oh God, 3 or 4 chemo treatments. So I was about
hmm
probably about 2 months into it, and I didn't have blood sugar issues before that, and then I had blood sugar issues because chemo. And actually, our pharmacist, same as we have now,
hmm
Prasad, explained to me that it wasn't the first time that he'd seen people going through chemo
yeah,
suddenly become. Now, I was not eating a good diet. So for me to not have been diabetic prior to that just means that roll the dice and good genetics, and chemo just pushed that over the edge.
right.
So, and I initially was good with taking my meds and checking my blood pressure, and then like many diabetics, I wasn't. Okay, and what got me to literally open my eyes, and one of the things that can happen to you with diabetes is you can have eye issues and up to and including blindness, is
We got to go to the eye doctor.
yes, is my 2020 trifecta of hospitalizations, where my second hospitalization, my blood sugar was through the roof. I mean, my A1C was like a 9.5.
Yeah, and it also helped that you were that stressed,
Right.
like
Well,
because you weren't able to breathe.
I was stressed, but here's the thing too. As the congestive heart failure was affecting me, what did I do? I self medicated. How did I self medicate, Rach?
Candy, cookies, cake.
Candy and cookies and cake.
Yeah.
How did I deal with my misery? I went to sweets. And so
Same here.
I probably took, and again, at that point I wasn't monitoring my blood sugar. Could I justify to myself that I could feel my blood sugar was going high, and you do this. And I can talk about this because I went through it.
hmm
So when I was in the hospital, they had me on insulin for the
And
first
I'd be
time.
like, "You sure you don't need to take that medication that the
Yeah,
doctor gives you?"
yeah, no,
Because, like, yeah,
yeah,
when we went to Sakura,
yeah.
we'd go in together and he'd like prescribe. I was like, "How come that doctor prescribes you medication and you don't take it?"
Don't worry
Well,
about it.
I just take it when I need it. I'm like,
Yeah, but I did put me on insulin, and I was like, wow. And I'm somebody have a pathological, real phobia. Okay, if you want an X card, if you were going to X card me,
"Mm,
back in my early 20s and before, just say needle and put it in.
oh,
And I,
injection."
I literally fainted in a hospital at the age of 18 when I came out with a tetanus shot and waved it in front of my eyes, and I went down. So I was that type. Now, what got me through that was a little adult knowledge, and then having cancer meant chemo every 2 weeks. You get
Yes.
injected and blood drawn. I was able to deal with that phobia. But now here I am, a type 2 diabetic, and I'm being told I got to inject myself 3 times a day with the short term insulin and 1 time a day with the long term insulin. I have to do my but initially, by the way, it wasn't those like little oh, it's the
Oh
pet
no, he had to like
do it with the
he had
natural.
to draw it from the vial.
Not fun, not
Yeah,
fun,
drawing it up and
not
then like
fun.
making sure that the milligrams on the little
Yeah.
side.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I I
Yeah, that would scare me about being a
I
nurse.
wish that on nobody. But one of the first things that Rach and I did, aside from adjusting my diet to cut out most extra excessive salts, was to really watch the carbs. Now, I don't eat a keto diet, but I eat a lot of stuff that is labeled keto. And why is that? Because I know it's going to have less of an impact on my blood sugar.
And something to certain things that are keto, like if it's like made by some of these small companies that we order from, you know that they're made with like good
Right.
ingredients. Like sometimes the mass produced keto things are, while they might be better than other things, they're still um like processed uh stuff in them.
Right.
It's not, I guess it's not clean
It's not clean
eating.
keto. We could do a whole episode on keto one day. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
that. But um, I learned that responding to your diabetes, and it's really a response, right? It takes a life change, but it's not just diet.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like
Oh no,
live a keto
no,
lifestyle or, you know, be on Atkins forever,
right,
but it just means that you have to limit it,
right, and have
and make sure that the carbohydrate that you do take isn't refined
it's,
sugars and
that's
processed.
a healthier carbohydrate.
Right, that it's got some nutritional value to it.
Are processed foods bad for diabetes? Processed foods are bad for pretty much
For
everybody.
most every chronic
But
disease,
here's the thing with
that's how you'll get chronic diseases.
processed foods are going to have, generally speaking, seed oil,
Yes, it's
which is
cheap.
cheap oil, not good for you, and it's going to have carbs that have been totally removed of any kind of nutrient benefit. It's going to be empty carbs, whether you're talking high fructose corn syrup, whether you're talking bleached flour. These are all things that are cheap and
All processes
filling.
that strip away the nutrients
Yes.
that are in the food.
So, and your body just takes it and converts it immediately to glucose. Okay, so that's why you try to stay away from processed foods. You have to be perfect?
Can you
No,
do it for all day every day? Probably not.
but you can you
But
can
you can strive towards there. Like, are you
you can
gonna?
change the balance in your favor.
Yeah, like
That's the way I like to look at it.
there's certain things that, like for a holiday or a birthday or
Right.
certain things that you're doing that you'll allow yourself to have it, but then just the next meal you make a different decision.
And you try to make decisions that are less harmful.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go, all right, I want to get hey, let's go get some breakfast sandwiches. All right, well, let's get some frozen breakfast sandwiches. Let's get the Jimmy Dean ones with
The egg witches,
the egg whiches.
or the what do you call those things? Um,
What?
it's like
Frittatas?
frittata. Yeah,
Yeah. So you can make. I know. Am I saying that these are perfect choices? No.
they're still processed,
Right,
but
but they're better. They're healthier choices. And that's the key word. We always, it's like, well, you got to make healthy choices. You got to make healthier choices. You got to start the process. Okay, a race isn't won in a handful of steps. It's the
right,
long distance.
you can't, and you can't have all or nothing thinking. I guess that's
Right,
something too. It's like, well, I have to be the best and eat the only these things and not
right.
others, and you know, you know, um, I think for a lot of us, like never again, like
Oh, never.
to never have like certain things again
Right. That's
is
not
too
reasonable.
much to think about. It's just like,
Right.
well, today I won't. Um, but yeah, a life without like desserts, like
But you can
yeah,
find healthier choices
exactly.
for desserts. If you are a diabetic and you will love cheesecake, I'm going to give you the name of a company. Wonder Monday. It isn't cheap. Each slice is probably about 4.50, $5. If you went to, I don't know, a New York diner, you're probably paying $11 for a slice of New York cheesecake. These cheesecakes taste as good as the cheesecakes you get in any of these restaurants,
Yeah.
and it doesn't spike your blood sugar, and it's got natural ingredients. So you gotta do a little searching sometimes. So, but again, people think that the only problem with blood sugar is high blood sugar. So I have, over the course of really, I'm no longer on injectables. When I was on injectables, I could have eaten anything I wanted pretty much, and my blood sugar was always remarkably good. I'm just grabbing my phone real quick because I want to see again. I had a 9.5 A1C when I was in the hospital 4.5 years ago, and
It was 9.5.
nine
Those.
point five. Now I want to get, here we go, A1C chart. So 9.5, according to this chart here in front of me, means that my blood sugar was averaging 172. That was my average blood sugar. That means that there were, if you're averaging 172, that means your low is probably about 130, 140. Your highs are probably in the upper twos, because when you you tend to spike when you go up. And was spiking today, but that was okay. It was a planned spike, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So now, today, if I look at my 90-day rolling average, my rolling average for my blood sugar is 118 for 90 days,
Hmm.
which, according to this chart, is normal as opposed to uh, diabetic, and a high end of diabetic going into dangerous diabetic. I'm on the high end of normal at a 5.5. Wow, that's great. Well, two things. That 5.5 is probably a 6.0. Why do I say that? Because whatever my readings I get on my
It's
phone,
usually a little higher
it
in
it
the
it
doctors.
when I get the real blood test taken,
Hmm.
it's usually about zero point 0.4 or zero point 0.5 higher. So I've learned to accept that. But the other thing is, um, sometimes you're not sure if these things are working properly. Like I had one this week, it
Yeah,
crapped
he
out.
had it in for a day, and the
It
thing
crapped
said,
out.
"Oh, change monitor."
Change.
So yeah, we have to send it to the company so they
Well,
can replace it. And
I can't send it to him because it was stuck in my arm.
oh yeah, I
You
threw it
can't.
out. Oops.
Yeah, I threw it. You can't send that.
Put it in the recycling.
It's got bodily blood on it. How do you
Yeah,
send it? Right? But I kept the serial number from the box and all that stuff.
yeah.
But the other thing is,
I forget. There's something you do.
yeah, the my blood sugar had last day and a
Oh,
half.
last night was
Last
rough.
night was rough.
We were up until 4 in the morning trying to get his sugar up.
It kept on going. And it wasn't just going into the 60s. It was going into the 50s. And Rachel's like, "Are you sure it's working? Are you sure it's working? Are you sure it's working?"
I was like, we should finger stick you. And I was
And
like, can I look it for the stuff in your
yeah,
thing?
it's like stop, stop, stop,
Yeah,
stop.
you wouldn't have it.
So here's the thing. So then today, I woke up. It was still 70 or above was the normal range. In the 60s is getting a little low. In the 50s, you start getting a little nervous. And I was like in the upper 60s, and I was like, all right, it'll sort itself out. And we had breakfast, and it went up, then it went down again. And not horribly down, but again below 70. So Rach wanted to make a keto pizza for dinner, and I was like, we can't do keto pizza. I go, I go, I didn't have a high carb breakfast. We had low carb burrito with salsa, cheese, and an egg. But I go, we're gonna do pizza. We got to do real pizza. And initially, I had, before the live stream, I had 3 garlic knots, and half an hour into it, my blood sugar was still in the 60s. I was like, and then I looked and it went 180. So my body was, it, there are apparently, and I'm learning this about myself. My body will go through. if I'm fighting off something, and I was fighting off something last week, so maybe this is part of it. Maybe it's the allergies, but when my body is not 100% right, my blood sugar used to be, oh, you're sick, your blood sugar goes up. No, for me, apparently, if there's something going on with me,
Mm.
my blood sugar goes down, it gets suppressed. So how do I know that this thing is working? This monitor is working. Well, after the live stream, I checked my blood sugar and it was like 90. I was like, all right, so this three garlic knots brought me up, but I'll heat up the pizza. We bought a pie. I'll put two slices in for Rach and I each. So we both had two slices. And as I'm finishing the
I'm
first
still
slice,
full.
yeah, I am too actually. As I'm finishing the first slice, I'm looking at my blood sugar and I'm like, oh, all right, 180. By the
Mhm.
time I finished the second slice and relaxed for 15 minutes, we heard the monitor go off.
Yeah,
Not for low blood sugar,
for high.
for high, it was over 240. So that tells me the reader is working fine. It's that my body was going through an issue. We used to say your body chemistry was off. That really isn't what it is. But your body is responding because I would have a handful of candy like the last couple of days. I'd see a spike and then it would go down. It's like I don't want to fatten myself up. It's not going to
Well,
make
you
it
don't
better.
want to eat something that doesn't have a purpose, and candy
Right.
doesn't generally have a purpose, but to like change your mood.
Yeah, that's fine. I can have that.
But yeah, it doesn't really have like a nutritional purpose.
So yeah, my blood. So now like I know my monitor is working right, which also tells me, yes, my blood sugar was getting low last night.
Yeah.
So now, what else did I do? Well, we used to always have juice in the house. And if you're a diabetic, I don't mean having juice in your refrigerator because you could go 2 months without drinking anything and then go 2 days where you're going to probably drink, I don't know, a half gallon because your blood sugar has been steadily low. For whatever reason, your body is just off.
Right. We keep
Well, we only had two.
more shelf stable.
We only so I got more coming tomorrow.
Because there was only two in the
Yeah.
little thing on the
Yeah.
shelf.
I hadn't used it in months.
Mm.
Hadn't used those little those little kid boxes, those 6.5 ounce boxes you throw in your kids' school bag and say, "Go ahead, enjoy it at school. That's all you get to drink. Suffer." Well, they're perfect. They're shelf stable. So you get the apple juice or you get the orange juice, and that puts natural sugars that your body will recognize into your system and allow your blood sugar to come up fairly quickly.
Because it's readily available to
It's
it. It
readily
doesn't have to
available.
break anything down.
Right.
It got it like can look at the paper of like all that's in it, and it knows where to send it all.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's not like those papers of the processed foods where it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what the hell to do with it. Just put it up there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? Just
You just put it on that shelf until
make a left, make a left, make another left, and at the end, make another left. Hey, you're back where you started. How'd that happen? Oh, I gave you bad directions. But so that's a bit of the challenge of diabetes. I got to say, having this 24/7 monitor
thank God for those.
is life changing.
They are worth every penny.
Because again, I went from being on 4 injections a day, being brought down to 1 injection a day, being brought down to,
Right. You were having the injections and the finger sticks
yep.
and
And once I was brought down to uh, 1 injection a day, I thought that was heaven. Getting that brought down to no injections a day, and just doing it. Metformin for me was a no go. Um, and I did research on it and we realized that metformin was what was screwing up my stomach
mm-hmm.
when I forgot to bring it with me to the Poconos. Now, why did I forget to bring it to the Poconos? Because unlike my other medications, which was AM PM, metformin was taken with meals, so you couldn't. So I had to take the extra. I had to take the bottle with me,
Mhm.
and I literally forgot it. But we were away for like 4 days, and without metformin, I wasn't having the most irritable bowel syndrome of the world. My stomach was relatively normal. Awesome. So spoke to my doctor about that. I said, listen, I did a little research. It said extended release metformin may help. It did. I tried
Oh,
it.
you got ER.
Yeah, I got extended release. It
Mhm.
it didn't. So um, in the end, we just took myself off metformin. We had to try other medications. And back then, what it was he put me on an injectable, which worked out great. I didn't have those types of stomach issues. I was just nauseous and uh, popping tums like they were going out of style, to the point where my endocrinologist and the nurse both looked at each other when they realized how much tums I was taking, and a panic and just said stop. It's like you can't do that. You're going to give yourself kidney stones because
Mhm.
it's all that calcium. Now, in my case, my injectable ended, my Munjaro, because the coupon that was allowing me to get it for an affordable price was no longer effective.
Reasonable price.
Reasonable. It was affordable. It was what,
Mhm.
$35 a month.
Yeah.
Then it was gonna be $435 a month.
Mhm.
No, and now for the side effects. Some people don't have side effects. Like some people with metformin don't have side effects, and that's great because my uh, and one of my cardiologists referred to metformin as the fountain of youth
Mhm.
if your body can tolerate it. But somewhere around 28 or 25% of patients can't tolerate metformin.
Uh,
It's a pretty huge chunk,
yeah.
and they don't tell you that when they put you on
I mean, they
it. But they
should because
should.
they're supposed to.
They didn't.
I mean, that they're like,
Yeah, I
oh,
know.
I could do this.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a heads up. So now I am on uh Farxiga. Now Farxiga has benefits beyond just being a diabetes medication.
Oh yes, and then the one they gave you was
Uh,
the
uh,
glimepiride.
well, uh, Farxiga protects not just against diabetes, but it protects your heart against heart failure, and it protects your kidneys. So it does a trifecta,
All the conditions that go along with the
along with
diabetes, it
diabetes.
protects against.
Yes. And then glimepiride, right? Which is, by the way, generic. So it's
And it is potent
yes. So I
because I
was
think that's been contributing to the lows.
yes. So I've been on, and I take Januvia too. So
Oh
I
yeah.
take three medications for my diabetes, and my average numbers for the last 24 hours, which is gonna be scary. My average numbers for the last 24 hours is 84. Blood sugar average of can I get that to show? There we go. 84. And you can see that big spike, by the way. That's the pizza. Is the big spike.
Mm.
So we can see in real time. All right, so I went down and I'm going back up. I went up again. And that's all from the pizza. That pizza. So that's another thing that as a diabetic that you're going to see too is that you get rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
So your blood sugar goes up and it starts coming down, and all of a sudden you're like, well, why is it going up again? Because your body doesn't digest all that stuff in one shot,
Right.
and maybe you were like I was. Maybe you were sitting in the chair relaxing
I'm
and
seasick.
half asleep. I was, and then you get up and you're more active again. Well, now your body goes, oh, we need more blood sugar. We need more energy, and then you're gonna see a little spike come up. David, good night. Get some rest. I will see if I don't see you sooner. I'll see you next Thursday. So these are little things. Again, I love this app though. I love the ability. to track my blood
Yeah,
sugar
it's pretty
in
amazing
real
what that's
time.
done for people.
But again, here I'm going to show this again to show you. See that bottom? See all that red? That's all the time I spent with my blood sugar under 70. Time in target, which means under 70, sorry, 70 or above, or 180 or lower. Well, only 57% in the last 24 hours. Oopsie. But like I said, I'll feel better when I have the juice in the house. I think that's a quicker
Yeah.
way to get. We have what, glucose tablets.
Yeah, they're we're down to the last two in the bedroom. There's
Uh,
two more in the
Okay,
in
the
the
dog likes them.
yeah. She liked grape today.
This is awesome.
She found that in the wee hours of the morning. I'm like, why do I smell grape?
Wakes Rachel up from her sleep.
I'm like, no.
Was it because?
Thank God it's just sugar, but
Yeah. Well, it was funny because like last night, like Rachel's giving them to me, and I was just in the dark. And Rachel's like, I handed you two. I'm like, okay, and my hand's still there. I go, well, you said you had four. So hand me the four. And she there. And I go, all right, I've only got three. And
uh,
Rachel's and I told Rachel that we were both here.
uh,
Rachel's like, huh? I go, I got three. You can keep the other one. Not realizing that she dropped it in the bed. That's we didn't know. I just knew I had three. So I think an important thing to remember though when it comes to diet. Now, again, I'm a type 2 diabetic. Uh, David, who was in earlier, he's a type 2. Bad Mike is an adult onset type 1, which is very rare, but his pancreas failed as an adult, and that made him a type 1. Type 1 and type 2, although a lot of these effects are similar and diet can help both, type 1, like in theory, you can reverse type 2, although it's one of those things. It's like you can reverse being an alcoholic, but you
mhm.
always have that hanging over you. You can reverse diabetes, the effect of it. I mean, if I keep on having numbers like this, I might be able to start weaning off some of my medications, but
Mhm.
that whenever wean off Farziga, that's too much of a benefit.
Right.
But even if I could, um, which again shows you that I've reduced a lot of the damage and ongoing damage. Um, it's still there. It's at best it's in remission, in my opinion. Well, because you don't want the bad habits to come back, and the bad habits are what, as a type 2 diabetic, I'm not going to say every type 2 diabetic is there because of bad habits, but if you were a betting man and you say, "Hey, are you a type 2 diabetic?" Yes, I am. I'll make a bet that you like to eat French fries and milkshakes
You
and
don't move around a
Oreos,
lot.
cookies, and you're sedentary,
Hmm.
and you're gonna make a lot of money on those bets. You're not gonna win them
Mhm.
all, but you'll certainly win on most of them. So, but yeah, low blood sugar. I'm glad that my now it's like, do I wean myself? Now you don't want to do this either, right? You don't want to stop taking medicine without consulting your doctor.
No.
But I know with the glimepiride, I believe you can split those pills, so maybe I'll need to start splitting them.
Hmm.
Just a little
You take it in the morning,
take it in the morning.
and
Well, you can
only
only
in
in
the
the
morning.
morning. You take it with a
Yeah.
meal. So, but honestly, I mean, what the alternatives are to if you literally at our age, the alternative to not having health issues is to not being at this age, not being here. I'll take the health issues and keeping myself in line.
Hmm.
So, folks, on that note, as always, next live stream is Wednesday. I don't know if we have a special guest lined up. we'll work on it. The Substack. It's 10 Cars Tavern. If you look up Substack and find it, that'll start coming back out. Should be this Tuesday and every Tuesday. And be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. Thank you so much. You are the reason why we are here.
Yes.
And I'll catch you all tomorrow.
Take